Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Dr. Ghost and today we're going to be back in the San Diego. And yeah, if you guys have been watching the channel the past few weeks, you guys should probably know by now how I feel about the San Diego, but it's, it's okay to say the least, and that is giving it a lot of leeway there. This ship is okay. Now, I play this thing from time to time just to give myself a bit of a challenge. It's not a good ship, okay? And I'm going to get that right out of the way. It's not. And the reason being is it just lacks DPM. It just doesn't put out enough damage to carry games and to put enough impact on the battlefield. Cruisers these days, what cruisers are good at, and what they should be good at anyway, is putting out lots of damage to make people kind of regret life decisions in pushing up, and or obviously having utility to help your team get those destroyers, right? Cruisers are great destroyer hunters, and they are great DPM machines. This thing is neither of them. And the main problem being the SAP is just so mediocre, it's not even funny. 1800 maximum damage on the SAP, which is okay. I believe someone told me it's the same as it is on PC, but, the problem here, and the problem lies where people will eventually run out of damage on their ships, because if you farm them long enough with AP or SAP, there's something called damage saturation. Saturation is really bad because, well, you're gonna get to a point where you're not gonna be able to do any more damage to the enemy ship. So, having high explosive would be a great thing for the San Diego, because if you, just in case you do end up getting someone completely damage saturated, you can load that high explosive and set some fires. Now, as you guys can see on this enemy Colorado, we are absolutely ripping him apart with the SAP, but that's only going to last for so long because he's going to run out of hit points in his superstructure. And that's the main problem. I'm not saying that you can't, have a good game either in this ship. I myself have had quite a few good games in this ship. In fact, I've got like a 70-something% win rate, and in this boat alone, and I'm not a, I made this thing work. But the problem being, you literally have to rip your hair out just to make this thing work somewhat, okay? The amount of hard work you have to put in just to make this thing somewhat halfway decent is completely unacceptable for a Tier 7 cruiser. And in my opinion, I think that this cruiser right here is the worst cruiser at Tier 7. By far. I don't think there's any cruiser that comes close. Maybe the Albemarle or some crap, but can you guys think of any other Tier 7 cruisers that are worse than this ship? Leave a comment. Tell me what you guys think. But I really can't think of any other cruiser that is worse than this cruiser. Looking at it on a paper standpoint, right? Taking a look at the statistics and comparing it to all of the other Tier 7 cruisers, this thing is the worst, okay? Just take a minute to look at the statistics, guys. Like, it just doesn't even come close to the other cruisers. It doesn't have radar. It's got the lowest amount of HP. It's got pretty crappy heals. And yes, it's got, the only good thing going for it is that it does have really fast reloading guns. But as you guys can see here, you can only do so much with these guns. You're only getting a few hundred damage every hit, and you might get a few thousand damage every hit when their superstructure is fully kitted out with HP, but that Colorado has lost a lot of HP, so I'm starting to struggle to do consistent damage to him. Now notice that we just took a Citadel from the Lenin, and literally one Citadel took half of our HP. Like, that's a huge problem with this ship, man. It blows up, like, in spectacular fashion. It's a tough ship, man. Not in terms of being actually tough to take hits. It's a tough ship to play. One wrong move, and it could be your last, and yeah, there's really nothing else much to say about this cruiser. Can you guys have good games in it? Sure, you can have good games in any ship. But do I think this is a good ship? Hell no, I do not. It's on paper, statistically speaking, this is the worst cruiser in the fucking game. Well, at least at 7. At least at Tier 7. Okay, at Tier 7. I don't know about being the worst in the game, but I do think it is the worst at the tier. It struggles so bad. Now, one fix I think that Wargaming could do is just give this thing high explosive, literally. Have it to where we can swap our SAP over to HE, like with the Italians, okay? Wargaming, if you're listening, seriously, give it a buff with the SAP, or if you can't give it a buff with the SAP, just give us an option to swap over to the high explosive, alright? That's literally like the best solution. I think if it just had HE, it would be somewhat tangible. I think it'd be okay. I think it'd be just fine, right? I think it'd be a lot better, because at least you can get some fires, right? But nonetheless, guys, I think that's going to go ahead and do it for this one. A little bit of a San Diego follow-up video, if you guys will. I talked about this on my live stream the other day, and I was like, yeah, San Diego is the worst, and we were all debating it, and I did make a video, too. I was a little more kind to this ship in the actual video and review I did on it, but yeah, I have to be honest with you guys. It's just not a good cruiser, like, statistically speaking. And yeah, you know, it's just not. So that's how battle ended. I just wanted to show you guys this match here and show you guys the my stats on this boat. I was actually third in that game, pretty cool. But if we go back to port, I can show you guys my statistics here, and yeah, I mean, you can just take a look. Like 77% win rate, bunch of battles played, bunch of wins. Yeah, I mean, a good player can make this thing work, but it still isn't a good ship. But nonetheless, everybody, I will catch you on the next one. Peace out. Stay healthy. As always, have a good week, everybody.